Twenty-one minutes gone past five, and you are tuned into the marketplace on Smooth 98.1. And it is definitely going to be an interesting conversation we're going to be having today because we're going to be talking about this new plan by the federal government to, add 5% duty on telecom, gaming, and betting. And my guest this evening is in a person of Muktar Mohammed. He's the CEO of Finance with Muktar, a very seasoned financial analyst, and he's definitely going to be giving us more insight on the things that are going to be happening. Because when I saw this earlier, and I'm like, wait, what? The ones we're spending money on now, we are crying about those things. Now we're seeing that there'll be extra 5% increase on it. But you know what? Let me first say welcome to you, Muktar, and I hope your day's been good so far.
Very fine. Thank you for having me, Daisy. My pleasure to be here today.
All right. Yeah, I know Daisy's also in the background somewhere there.
Good. Is it
yes, Joy.
Joy. Yeah, Joy, sorry.
I know. Having us us ladies with you, yeah, it can be a lot. But indeed, Lagos as well can come, you can join in the conversation rather, and share your thoughts regarding this new outcome. And you know what? The first thing I want to know is how might all this affect the overall cost of telecom services for Nigerians?
Well, it's unfortunate sometimes when things happen, we just go back and forth. This duty is not new. Ordinary is not new because the previous administration of President Buhari came up with this duty, and then the then Minister Issa Pateni went to the president and said it should be suspended, and it has been suspended since then. But I think we're having this revision of our tax policies and others, and I think that's why we are seeing this again. It's going to have a negative effect on the telecom sector, especially what we should see if you have a 5% VAT increase, then that means you are talking about the cost of calls will definitely go up. That's what it means. It's not as easy as that because, again, that means for every call I make, when they start paying duties on everything they import, they will definitely have to pass it on to the consumer, which we are the ones. So one of those things that we've seen that enjoys stable rate since its inception has been in the area of making of calls, text messages. So we're about to see a shift in that, where we might be. If this goes on, that means we'll be paying more for making of calls.
Okay, so but is that going to be different from data? Because I know that at some point in time,
it's going to be all of it. It's going to be
all encompassing.
It's all encompassing. If you watch that bill, it said both for internet, both for GSM provider, both for internet provider, telecommunication, every telecom provider, like you rightly pointed out, then the betting, the gaming company, and all those. So we'll be there also.
And these are the things that actually make Nigerians, they use it to console themselves. Like, when I have data, I'm fine. And for those who are into gaming, you're looking at, okay. And I'm talking about regular gaming. I'm not even talking about betting now, right? You're just looking at, okay, so that's the one thing, the escape I get away from all the pressures that I usually have during the day. Maybe I'm at work 9 to 5. I'm home now. I want to relax. I'm gaming. And now I'm having to pay extra for it. So, it just means that a lot of people are going to be cutting down on a lot of things.
Well, that's it. Fine, that's it. A lot of people will be cutting down a lot of things. But we also know that in developed countries in the world, these things do not go tax-free. That's the truth. They pay taxes on all these things. But the challenge we have as a nation is you can't compare us with them because in terms of standard of living, and they see all these things as a necessity, and their salary is enough to take care of that. But when you're talking about, like you're saying, you go home, you bored, you don't have power, so the only thing you just want to do is just pick up your phone and do something. And they're telling me that I have to pay for that, and I think well, like I said, the Tax Reform Committee is one of the best committees that President Tinubu has. I must give it to them. They seem to be the only committee that seems to be ticking the buttons in terms of thinking about small businesses, thinking about how to use tax to grow the economy, how to use tax for revenue, and also use tax to attract a lot of international companies into Nigeria. But again, in this current policy, I think they should have a second look, because again, if you look at the telecom sectors, they are the only one that have not increased anything in terms of tariff, because you have to give it to
They've
them.
not actually.
They're the only ones. Even the internet provider, the telecom companies, the GSM companies, they've not, and they have the ones, one of the ones that was hit by the exchange rate volatility that we have seen in terms of, if you want to look at that, you look at the company result from Airtel Africa, you look at company result from MTN, realize how much this FX has really affected them, and yet we are still having making calls and sending messages and buying
reduced at rates.
The same rate, even if they are also calling for an increment, which the NCC, the National Communication Commission, have not approved yet. But again, if you look at every other goods or services in Nigeria, it's even government-owned services, government-owned. You want to do international passport has gone up. Even government-owned services have gone up, and
they've all gone up. So that means
they've gone up,
hey.
and they are the only ones, and yet, and I think why they were not looking at that was maybe due to the suspension of these excess duties that they were supposed to pay. Maybe I thought that was the stick that the government was telling them, look, if you dare get to
approach that,
but I don't think so. I just think maybe the government, this present administration is looking for money everywhere, so they see that as a good cash cow.
Okay. While we're even talking about that, my main question is, what impact might this actually have? I know it's definitely going to affect the low income earners, because hey, if you don't have affordable telecom services, how are you going to be? The easiest thing you find most people do is just take their phones. They don't make regular calls. They would rather use their internet and make their calls, especially if they're calling their family abroad. So it's the easiest way for them to communicate. But now let's even put that on one side. How could this revenue be used to benefit Nigerians, particularly in some undeserved areas or areas where we've not even seen the day of light?
You see, ordinarily, we shouldn't be complaining when we are being taxed or we are paying taxes. In developed economy, nobody complain when they are being, even if they complain, they would definitely look at, okay, what do you want to use it for? What are you using this?
That's the question I was going to ask you. Like, they see
so
the use of their taxes.
If you look at it, this government is talking about taxing the rich to about 25% now.
Right.
Telecom, that means a lot of funding will go into this government. They will have collected a lot of money. But my main challenge still remains that how do you manage this in terms of building infrastructure? If you are taxing the telecom 5% and they are the ones providing security for their
mass
for their mass, they are still using powering it with diesel.
Right.
And so what are these taxes?
That's the sucker that they're having.
So you need to, it's a give and take issue. In developed country, why the rich pay more taxes is to safeguard their investments, because that means government will be providing more security, and in a more secure environment, that's where you are rich, you can enjoy your wealth. When you are not free to move about, you don't enjoy it. So in developed nations, they tax them and they see what this money is being used for. Not like in Nigeria. Even if you are the rich, if they tax you provide security for yourself. The telecom will provide security for their marks. They will also, a lot of things that they do. So that's why sometimes when you hear taxes in Nigeria, you are just like, oh, they've come again to collect our money so that they can eat more. Because again, you're taxing individuals, and yet your lifestyle, the life of the individual that you are taxing, their life is getting still, and yet you, the leader, seems to be getting better, or when I say eating on their resources. I think that's the challenge. Corruption, leaders are still living large, telling the citizens to tight their bed. They are still going abroad to do parties. They are still doing a lot of things. I mean, so it's not encouraging. It doesn't encourage people to want to pay tax, to pay tax, because everybody thinks that those tax will find their hands into private pockets.
Well, we'll get to talk about how that is also probably going to affect gambling and the activities, gaming, betting. Well, let's take this quick breather. On the other side, hopefully, we're not going to have to be seeing illegal gambling on the streets. But you know what? We'll talk about that when we come back from this quick breather. Lagos don't go nowhere. Stay tuned to Smooth 98.1.
A long time ago, in the heart of Ekbaland, when the skies were dark and all seemed lost, Nishabi arose, a man of few words, but his actions roared like thunder.
I can't even imagine the interesting things that Nigerians would, because we're very creative with loopholes. I just use loopholes because they are going to definitely find a way to make things happen. Okay, so you cut out everything, and you think I'm not going to find a way around it? Are you joking?
It's not credit that you want to go. What happened? Has the code changed? Where have you been, girl? *303# is the new code to borrow credit and data on Glow. So the code is no longer *321#, but *303#. Before go *303#.
So pay attention.
But guys, I hope the data we borrow don't reach me and you.
It's going to put out it on your
borrow credit and data. *303#. Same rate.
Accessible, informed. Our approach goes to get into the marketing. Our sleep makes it comfortable.
All right, 33 minutes going past 5. You're welcome to the marketplace on Smooth 98.1. And today on the marketplace, we're talking about this 5% increase on, excise duty on telecom, gaming, and betting, and how it is going to be affecting Nigerians in the long run. You can also come through, share your thoughts, questions that you have regarding this new increase. Well, Muktar has actually shared, who is my guest, by the way. Yes, Muktar Mohammed is my guest, and he's earlier spoken about how it's there, but, you know, it's just not glaring enough for us to see. But indeed, it is something that might need to be put into place. How it's going to affect you and I is what we're talking about. So you can come through and let me know if you've actually started experiencing this, or if it's something that you're hoping they will chalk out eventually. But indeed, glad to have you, Muktar, as you are weighing in on the conversation. And before we went on that quick breather, I was talking about the gambling aspect. Will this lead, since there's going to be an increase on the VAT for those who are into betting? The amount of people that I see, I'm not even going to kid you. I see the young who are not even supposed to be practicing it because it's supposed to be 18 and above. But you will see some of these young stars. They're out there trying to cast their luck and see how they can also make it big. Because, hey, if we don't try, rather, how are we going to find out that we won't get there? Then you see it's not just women, it's not just men, rather, because the assumption is usually, oh, it's men that are gambling. Apparently not. Everyone is gambling, men, women alike. So if this is the new updates, how is that going to affect people who get into gambling?
Well, you see, it may not affect them. That's the truth of the matters, because what if we see it will reduce their prize money.
So no more having to stake higher.
Because again, what it means that you are paying higher, but your prize money might still be the same. That's what I think will happen. But when you talk, you just see the 5% will now be increased, but then the money that you earn from gambling might be less than what you used to earn before. So I think that's what will happen, because when you talk about gambling, it's a habit, and they will always find a way to gamble, no matter what the condition you put in there, unless you have security people arresting them. And like you rightly said, some of the security people in themselves too are gamblers, and you see them all around, and you see, especially in Lagos, in some places you just wonder how did they get themselves in these places. Some places you just see at the corner of one very there's a gambling cause there early in the morning. You see somebody just, that's what he's going to do. That's what he's believing God that will take him out of poverty. And sometimes all these things are due to the condition, in terms of the poverty level. Even if I say it's a habit, but again, poverty level has increased it, because a lot of people just feel that what's the easiest way can I get out of the situation that I am in now? And then you just think of gambling and making more. Make using 500 naira to make about 500,000. Anybody that's in that poverty guy will want to see that the means of escape out of that route.
Who wouldn't want to? 500, and I'm making no, I'm not even going to say 1 million. I'm making 5 million. So who's not going to want to jump on that? But indeed, interesting times that we're going to be in. But one of the things I wanted to know is how this is going to impact on foreign investment trends. Is there going to be a change, or would it have any impact at all?
It will have impact, especially in the telecom sector. You should know that the telecom sector is one of the life wire of the Nigerian economy. If you look at the data that have been coming from the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics, the service sector has really been driving this economy. And you look at the service sector, you are looking at the telecom sector. And so such policy would definitely kill investment in that space. And I don't know whether you have experienced it for a while now. Making of call, internet connectivity has been very, very poor because of the FX challenges. And then they were not allowed to increase their tariff. So they are not trying to improve their service equipment, because like I said, the volatility is there. Yeah, it's money. The volatility is there in FX, and most of these things are not manufactured yet. You have to bring it outside the shore of these countries. And now you're not saying you should pay duties on it. So definitely we've coupled a lot of investment in that space. It's already doing that already, like I said, because of those they're not allowed to increase tariff, and the FX volatility have not, that make that sector attract a lot of investment. And if you look at, like I said, you look at the numbers that have been coming from those companies that are listed, MTN, Airtel Africa, you realize that their major losses have come from foreign exchange volatility, and then you add to this now. So I think it's going to stop, it's going to slow down growth in that sector. And again, one area that people are not looking at is also, it's also, like you said, you get to your home, you use your internet in the comfort of your home to make your banking transactions. That also will be impacted, because that means maybe the short code fees would definitely go up also.
Increase,
so that could also cause a lot of people going to the bank rather than doing it at the comfort of your house. So it's a snowball effect that everybody will look at. Like you said, everybody will look at means of cutting, reducing their expenses. And if reducing my expenses means that I just have to take a 10 or 20 minutes walk or drive to my bank, I may just have to do that.
But this is Nigeria. We're looking at having a situation where we don't have to always go to the bank. You know, cashless society, and now we're going back to where we're coming from. It's not an exciting look to have, indeed. But do you think at any point in time, public opinion might impact the outcome of this decision?
Ordinarily, when you are setting up a new bill, you have a public opinion, whereby you call everybody stakeholders, everybody citizen to come and to come and have a seat. But you see in Nigeria you just see that I think the only people that can make may cost a change in that might be the National Assembly, because the bill has not been passed into law. We must know that. And again, they are looking at implementation from 2025. So there may be a public hearing on this, and that could also be something that we really have to look at.
Okay, hopefully when we get headway, it will be positive and won't have to cry. But at the end of the day, we're seeing how it is presently. Things are being impacted when it comes to our networks, especially for the telecom angle. So it's a give or take kind of situation at the moment. Let's actually just see how it pans out eventually. But I want to know, will this also make people, at least for certain organizations? Okay, so since we're not getting the best or the quality service that we need here, I'm talking of the telecoms sector right now, will that move or cause people to look for counterparts or look for others, international platforms that they would want to partner with so that they can have great access to internet and services?
Well, if that happened, then it's a plus to the economy. If that is going to drive, we're having international partners. That means we're having foreign direct investors, not portfolio investors. That could be good if we do have that. We have foreign partners and not just partners that will just come in to make money and go away. That could be good.
And take it away,
but
right?
Again, then there must be that. If you want to have that, investors will always think about how much can we make, and that means they have to be right pricing of the telecom sector. Then that means you won't have to stop them from increasing tariff. So it could be where market forces, and when market forces come in, they will definitely take advantage of the people, like what we are having in the foreign exchange market now. So definitely you want foreign investors to come in, but you don't want them to come in at the disadvantage of your own people because of your own policy that you are driving. So for me, that is the major challenge. But again, if you talk about partnership, I think that's the way to go. Because if we remember the time we're doing privatization of the power sector, we have a lot of foreign companies that were ready to come in because of the kind of opportunity they see in the power sector in Nigeria. But we say because of national security, then we end up not having them. We allow politicians to become chairman of this disco, of this distribution company, and you can see where we are.
We see where we are right now.
So
with
definitely
the greed failing every other day.
So I think
let's not even get into that one.
We need to know what we really want. What is the key reason for this 5%? Is it to grow the economy? Is it to attract more foreign investors? Is it to create more jobs for the citizen? Because I keep saying it, the only reason why I will have a government is for prosperity and security. And if a government is not giving me prosperity, is not giving me security, why should I be excited about such a government? I think so. Government should always look at how can we help your citizens, pushing the effect or whatever you want to do. And at this time, I think the Nigerian people have taken so much more than what they can chew. And I think one thing they are enjoying, like you said, is data, is making calls, and it's not something you want to take out of the reach of the average Nigerian. That will be that will not be nice at all.
Too much to think about, so much to actually mull over, and I'm hoping that this situation wouldn't get any worse than it is. Hopefully NCC and the telecoms will get to a certain degree, have conversations, and we'll find out a middle ground so that we can also benefit from this situation. Even if it's going to be, if the VAT is going to be increased, let's know that it is being used for something tangible, like you also have made reference to. Not just that we're paying taxes, but let's see what taxes are being used for. But before I let you go, what trends might emerge in the way Nigerians will use telecom as well as either gaming or betting services? What do you think is going to be?
Like I said, for the betting side, I don't think there will be any so much reduction. The reduction will only come in the area of price. prize money one. So maybe for the gaming, I think a lot of Nigerians will begin to look at it. Is it a necessity or is it a want? So they begin to think whether they really want to continue to do that. For the telecom company, unfortunately, you can't just do without them. So it will have a snowball effect on every area of our economy.
Because that's what we're using right now. And if that's a problem, how am I going to be communicating with you virtually?
Yeah, so that's going to be a big problem. And so I, for one, think that's one area we really have to look at, because you look at board of payment, you look at OP, you look at a lot of innovation that the youths are doing. Coupled with this, it's going to be it's going to have a negative effect on the Nigerian economy.
Let's just hope for the best. It's all we can do. But thank you so much, Muktar, for sharing your thoughts this evening. And I trust it's going to be a more pleasant evening for you. And getting into the week is going to be more productive as well. But as always, how can people reach out to you on your social media platforms if they have further questions that they want you to address?
Yeah, you can reach me. You can reach out at Finance with Muktar in all social media platforms.
Awesome. Just one, and you get to reach out to him. Thank you so much, Muktar, for your insight this evening. And thank you, Lagos, for always tuning in and sharing your, at least paying attention. And I'm hoping that it's going to be a productive day for you or evening for you. As always, we have so much lined up for you. So don't go nowhere. Stay tuned to Smooth 98.1.